The Coros Pace 2 and the Coros Apex have a lot of similar features, but they're definitely not the same. So in this short video, I'm going to compare the two so you know exactly what the differences are so you can make the best choice for you. So at $100 difference between the two, with the Pace 2 retailing around $200 and the Coros Apex retailing around $300, you definitely want to know that you are getting the value you deserve when you spend the $100 extra for the Apex. And you also want to know if you're even going to be using those features. Should you even pay the extra money if they're features you're not ever going to use? And I will just say, you guys, these are both incredible watches. And I am not going to get into the full everything of what they can do. If you want specifics, check out my review videos of each of these on their own. I will link them. This is really just focusing on what is different. It's really just a matter of choosing the one that fulfills your needs as a runner or as an athlete overall. All right, so let's get into the construction and durability, because out of the box, I would say this is one of the biggest differences you're going to see. So starting with the Coros Pace 2. So this is the cheaper watch of the two, and the materials that are used are less expensive materials. So that is what you would expect. So this is a mainly plastic watch face along with what's called a Corning glass watch face. So it's still going to be fairly durable, especially if you are a runner. You probably don't need super upgraded materials, but if you're doing cycling or you're out in rugged terrain a lot, you might want to go for something with a little bit more durability. One thing I really love about the Coros Pace 2 is how lightweight it is. I am not 100% sure that it's the most lightweight on the market, but it is pretty darn close. And really, you can barely feel it when it's on. So that's something to consider. In fact, both of these watches have a silicone band, and you can make them even lighter if you choose the nylon band. All right, so let's get into the materials of the Apex. So you can just see right away that this is just kind of a nicer, less sporty looking watch. So it's really more about what you want to have on your wrist. If you are only planning on using the GPS and wearing it for your workouts, then going for something that's more sporty like the Coros Pace 2 would be great for you. If you have another watch that you want to be wearing when you're out on the town, then you probably don't need two that look really nice. For me, it's very nice to just have one watch that does both. I can take it from work to my workout to night. Wear the same watch. I only have to worry about one, and it looks great on. I mean, guys, just to be fully transparent, I did pay for the Coros Pace 2 on my own. This is a loaner watch from Coros, but this is a completely honest review, but I do not want to send this watch back. I have to send it back, and it's so nice. I really wish I could keep it. In addition to just looking nice, it's also extremely durable. So it has, depending on which one you choose, it has stainless steel around the outside, or it has titanium, so that's very different, and it has sapphire glass, which this is something big that you're going to be paying for as an upgrade on something like the Phoenix. It's extremely durable, and so whatever test you put it to, it's going to hold up to that. The one last thing in terms of durability is this Apex is going to be waterproof up to 100 meters, and the Coros Pace 2 is waterproof up to 50 meters. You can wear both of them for swimming. I think both of them would be great on the trails. I don't think most of you are gonna have to worry about either of that. They're both pretty good. You're just not gonna be doing diving with either of them, honestly, and the Apex is a little bit better in that regard. Okay, so let's talk battery life. Now, you would assume that if you're paying more, you're going to be getting better battery life, but that's not actually true with these watches. And I think that's because the Apex has been around longer than the Coros Pace 2. So we had a Coros Pace, and then they upgraded to Coros Pace 2 and really extended the battery life there. So in this regard, they're actually pretty similar, but I'm gonna give you the exact, because depending on which Apex you choose, it's going to be a little bit different. So for the Coros Pace 2, the full GPS is going to be 30 hours. It's going to be 60 hours in Ultramax mode, which Ultramax mode is just getting GPS for 30 seconds of every 2 minutes. It's just not quite as accurate, but really extends the battery life of your watch. And it's going to last 20 days in regular use. Okay, so going over to the Apex, now you can choose between a 42 millimeter and a 46 millimeter. This right here I have is the 42 millimeter, and it actually has less battery life than the 46 millimeter, but it looks much better on my small wrist. It's probably the one you'd want to go for if you are a smaller person like me, but I don't know, maybe you love big watches. That's really up to you, right? So it gets 25 hours in full GPS, 80 in Ultramax mode, and 24 days in regular use. So the funny thing about this is that the 42 millimeter has less battery life than the Coros Pace 2 in full GPS mode, but it actually has better battery life in regular use mode than the Coros Pace 2. So really, they're just very similar. Now, if you definitely want more battery life, you could go for the 46 millimeter, 35 hours in full GPS mode, 100 hours in Ultramax mode, and 30 days in regular use. All around, guys, these are great watches for battery life. They are not the absolute best. So if you want even better, you can be looking into something like the Phoenix or the Phoenix Solar or the Garmin Enduro, the Coros Vertex. I think probably for most people, this is going to be all you need. All right, so the big one between the two watches, and really why they sell both, I think, is that one has major trail navigation features and the other one doesn't. So when you're paying that extra $100 for the Coros Apex, this is a big reason why you are shelling out a little bit more. You are getting these navigation features that you are not going to be able to find on the Coros Pace 2. So even though the Coros Pace 2 has many features you're going to love, like it has a barometric altimeter, it has a compass, you know, just the basics in terms of measuring elevation and things like that when you're out on the trail, it's still going to be doing that for you, but it's not going to navigate you in any way, and you can't download maps to be doing any sort of routing. Whereas you do have that capability on the Apex. Now, I will say out of their watches, you're going to be getting the most basic navigation functionality in this watch than any of the others. However, I think for most people, it's probably going to be more than sufficient. You can plan a route ahead of time, or it can be a route that you've already done on your Coros watch. You can take it from the app and load it onto your watch, go out to that route, and it will take you along the course, and so that you can see on the map where you're going to end, things like that. And safety wise, it will alert you if you are going off course. So I think that's really nice. It goes back to start so that if you do get somewhere and you're too far off course, or you just want to turn around, you can navigate back to start and it'll tell you exactly where you need to go. So I think for people who are hiking or out on those trails and are concerned about possibly getting lost or something like that, that's a huge reason why you'd want to upgrade to this watch as well. Beyond that, it can give you storm alerts, and I know that that's something that's really important when you're out on the trails. Now, the one thing to note is that Coros doesn't have mapping capability online yet that you can download to this particular watch, but you can create routes in Garmin or Gaia GPS. There are probably others. You have a file that you download to your app, and then you can transfer it to the watch. Now, I won't say this is the easiest thing in the world. I did try it. However, I think if you're willing to pay the money for Gaia GPS, it probably really is. And that might be, you know, something valuable to you depending on who you are. But it's not going to be as perfect as some of those other navigation watches out there that cost more money, which is why I really think this is one of the best budget watches for trail runners because of its navigation capability. It really can't be beat at this price point. However, if you are not a trail runner, you don't need to have any sort of navigation, you're always out on the roads, then you probably are going to be wanting to go for the Coros Pace 2. So that's really the main differences between this watch. If you guys have any other questions about them, I would be happy to answer them. If you do decide to buy one of these watches, I would appreciate so much if you use my affiliate link below. It helps this channel, and I will catch you guys in the next video.